Welcome back, men. And today I want to talk about one of the most common things that I hear from men, the most common question that I get from married men, which is, what should I do when she keeps saying no? Keeps saying no to things like sex, love, and intimacy. Not once, not occasionally, but constantly. Weeks, months, years pass, and you're sitting there wondering, what the hell did I do wrong? Well, my friends, let me save you years of confusion and quiet resentment. When a woman consistently says no to intimacy, the bottom line is it means she's no longer emotionally invested in you. She's not tired, she's not stressed, she's not busy. What she is disengaged. Because attraction doesn't vanish by accident, it fades when interest fades. And before the comment section combusts, and I already know it will, with all the women losing their minds over what I'm about to talk about, this isn't about entitlement. It's about raw honesty. It's about what men have to deal with when she decides he doesn't matter anymore. Let's get to it. Let's face it, a relationship without intimacy is basically just a roommate agreement with shared bills and emotional labor. If she can't find 15 to 20 minutes a couple of times a week to connect with you, she's not looking for connection. She's actually actively avoiding it. The fact is, people will make time for what matters. Always. So she finds time for work. She finds time to spend on her phone. She finds time for Netflix, girls' night every week, social media, group chats, and even coworkers that she can't stand. But suddenly, when it comes to intimacy, she's always tired and it's an impossible scheduling miracle. Let's call it what it is. It's not a problem with logistics. It's a problem with her priorities. And here's the part most men don't want to hear. When she stops caring about your needs, she's already halfway out the door emotionally. Because true love doesn't ignore a partner's basic desire for closeness. True love doesn't treat intimacy like a chore. True love doesn't weaponize exhaustion as a permanent lifestyle. When a woman is truly in love with you, she wants you. She wants the closeness. She wants the connection. She wants to feel chosen and desired, just like you do. And she wants you to feel that also. So when she's not into it, when she doesn't want to do it, when everything around it becomes an excuse and the excuses sound familiar, well, that's a sign she's already halfway out the door and you just don't know it yet. Women love to hide their true feelings from men, especially when it comes to this. They love to try and avoid having a conversation or admitting what's really going on. And they go to great lengths to accomplish that. How? Well, let's run through a few of the most common examples, starting with example number one, the classic shutdown sentence they throw out every time a man tries to bring it up, which is that all you think about? Sex? That line. Translation, your needs are simply inconvenient to her. They don't matter, just like you don't matter. And by saying this, she's hoping that you'll feel ashamed for even having them. Notice how it's framed. Not, I'm struggling, not, let's talk about it. No, she goes right to an accusation. How dare you even think about touching her, you abusive monster. Example two is very similar and often the quick follow-up to the is that all you think about line, which is when she says something like, sex is all you care about. It's all you want from me. No, it's not all he's thinking about or wants from you, but it is something he does care about, which is exactly the problem for the ladies, isn't it? My God, how awful a man is for wanting to be close to her, for wanting to touch her, for wanting to be intimate with her. How dare he actually have the audacity to still be attracted to her even after she's clearly no longer attracted to him. Let's be clear. That line isn't about sex. It's about dismissal. It's about dismissing his wants his needs, his desires. It's about dismissing him not just as a man, but a human being. The third example is yet another classic that we've all heard before. I'm just not in the mood. Now, if that's said occasionally, fine, no worries, no complaints. There are times we're all not in the mood. That's perfectly normal. But when she says it for weeks, months, and years on end, when the goalposts keep moving, it's not because the mood is missing, it's because her motivation is. She's bluntly telling you, I no longer care. I no longer want to be intimate with you. I don't want a husband, I want a roommate. A roommate who provides for me while I refuse to provide anything for him. And he damn well better be happy about it too. And another beautiful example is the classic deflection technique. The classic it's all your fault technique that most women use, which is, I need you to help me more around the house. Doesn't matter how much you have done or are doing, it's never going to be enough. Funny how the list never ends, doesn't it? And it only keeps growing and growing, while the reward rarely, if ever, comes. It's no longer about intimacy for her. It is nothing less than a business transaction. It's where love is now a burden to her, but currency is compliance. And that prize she's offering is purely imaginary. When she plays this game, she's making it clear you aren't her man. You aren't her lover. You're a John, nothing more, nothing less. And even when she does reward you, basically it's like being with a half-nuked, soggy Hot Pocket that has the enthusiasm of a death row inmate on their way to the gas chamber. Again, that's not intimacy. That's basically being with one of those rubber dolls you can buy on the internet. Except those rubber dolls will actually have more enthusiasm and make more effort than she will. And then there's the nuclear option, the one she pulls out to shut you down once and for all. The one specifically designed to make you feel like you're a ist or that you're guilty of committing SA. The I feel pressured when you ask line. Again, how dare you? How dare you ask? How dare you even expect anything? No, now to her, even expressing desire is a criminal offense. It's the most heinous crime of all. Not only are you no longer allowed to want to be intimate with her, you're not allowed to want it with her at all. You aren't even allowed to think about it. And you're most definitely not allowed to say it out loud. And if you do, she's going to view you no different than those men who do unspeakable things that they should spend the rest of their lives in prison for. That is not emotional safety. It's emotional blackmail with a capital B. It is the ultimate in betrayal of the relationship. And once she says it, men, there is no going back. None. No apology. No remorse, no amount of enthusiastic participation later will ever reverse what she just said. Every man who's ever heard it knows that once she uses that line, it is forever tattooed on your brain. Because from that moment forward, every single time you are actually intimate with her, you're going to be wondering, is this about love, or am I about to go to prison for committing a sex crime? And yet, women toss that line out like it's no big deal. They'll even say it isn't. They'll say they didn't mean it, but I assure you, they did. Every single word of it. And from that moment on, gentlemen, you are at risk. At risk of her later changing her mind that she gave consent. At risk of her running and telling the police, the family court judges, and every other person she can think of that you're guilty of being a monster. Sorry, but once that nuke is dropped, there is no going back. There is no other option but to get out, men. Heed those words. Believe them, because far too many men have ended up in prison or had their lives ruined because they didn't. And here's where it gets really absurd. Here's where men need to open their eyes and see what's really going on. If she'll spend 2 hours every morning showering, doing her hair, putting on her makeup, and choosing an outfit to impress her coworkers, the ones she claims she hates, but doesn't have the time or energy to step out of those ratty old sweatpants and a shirt that peaked during the Obama administration a couple of times a week for the man she supposedly loves, then you don't have a wife. You don't have a relationship. You have a roommate. You have an employer. You have a supervisor conducting daily performance reviews on your masculinity. Wake up, men. If you're in that situation, you need to understand what is really going on. It's not about looks or what she does outside the bedroom. It's all about effort. And effort is attraction in action. So when that effort disappears, you can be damn sure so did her desire. Desire for you and desire for the relationship. You can take that one to the bank, men, because that is an absolute fact. Though I know all the ladies watching this are losing their minds at me right now for daring to say it. Oh, trust me, the comments are going to come, and they will be vicious. But the reality is, anything I just said is not wrong. It's absolute fact. They're mad because I dared to say the quiet part out loud. I dared to say what women are actually thinking, feeling, and doing. But what they don't want men to know. I exposed the lie, exposed their game, and rather than admit it, they'll just simply hate me for it and try to shut me down for daring to say it. The bottom line is this situation is a no-win one for men, and men feel it deeply, even when they don't have the language for it. Rejection from your partner doesn't just hurt physically. It erodes a man's confidence. It creates self-doubt. It makes him question his worth. And the women who are losing their minds right about now, not to mention all of society, pretend that men aren't allowed to feel that. No, they weaponize those feelings. They turn them back on the men. They call them rapists, pedophiles, and worse for simply having natural human wants and desires. It's why they tell men to suck it up, to sit down and shut up, that they're a monster for even mentioning it. And when that doesn't work, they'll quickly switch to saying things like, just be patient, be understanding. It's not you, it's me. As if that matters in the least, when it's supposed to be about we. Or they'll tell you to try being more attentive to their needs, even though we all know no amount of attention you give will ever change a damn thing, because we've already tried it. Women who do this and say these things simply don't care. To them, your needs are a character flaw, something to be shut down, dismissed, and silenced, and you along with it. Here's the hard truth. If intimacy is always a no, if the conversation is always deflection, and accountability is always redirected back onto you, she's already emotionally checked out and probably has been for quite a while. She's now prioritizing herself, her happiness, her comfort, her routine. She's living in her world, and you're just orbiting it. That is not partnership. That's emotional neglect with a joint checking account. And no, this doesn't mean that every relationship owes constant sex. But it does mean that a healthy relationship doesn't ignore one partner's needs indefinitely. Connection and intimacy are not optional. They're foundational. So when they disappear, that relationship is telling you something. She is telling you something, even if she won't say it out loud. Pay attention to her patterns, not her promises. Pay attention to her effort, not her excuses. And above all, stop letting your needs, men, be framed as unreasonable just because acknowledging them would require her to have to be honest. You're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person. So stop asking. Go find someone else who's actually willing to listen.